Obviously being a former OSU player, you've been interested in the OSU head coaching job in the past. You were a candidate when Mike Boynton was hired 7 years ago. Are you interested in the job again?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's a little bit like The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. Like, are you in it for the right reasons? Right? It's not to leverage my current job. You know, it's simply because I love my school, and what I've always wanted for other young men is to experience what I've gotten experience during and since playing at Oklahoma State. And over the last 7 years, I've been able to twice coach teams and put them together overseas. I've run a highly successful AU program. I've coached in TBT. This year, as a consultant, I was able to really get hands-on into the inner workings of a college basketball program, from film study to meetings to to basically how to run an organization, as well as kind of game planning and some of the things I knew. But when you're Mike Boynton was kind enough to kind of grant me full and total access, I was like embedded basically with the team. So now loaded up with all that knowledge, and specifically knowledge about Oklahoma State, I understand what I don't bring, but I know what I do bring. And I say this because, like, Oklahoma State there's certain places in sports where it's about family. North Carolina basketball is a perfect example. Oklahoma State's a place that's very unique. And by and large, the people that succeed there are Oklahoma State people, because you want to be there. You want to stay there. You want to raise your family there. You want to be a part of the community, and you don't want to leave. And I'm completely respectful of Chad and his process. And I understand that when you come off of 7 years with a man who hadn't been a head coach, the very obvious pendulum swing is you go from an inexperienced guy to experienced guy. But what does Oklahoma State basketball need? Right? We need Gallagher to be full. We need a culture change. We need energy, excitement. Yes, we need to win basketball games. We also need NIL. And who can do a better job of talking to the boosters about what we need and how we need to get it back than somebody who was part of some of the glory days, who I think can draw more quality attention in the immediate future than I can. I mean, heck, I understand it only resulted in 4 wins last year. Look at what Deion Sanders was able to do at Colorado. Look at their enrollment numbers across the board. Not football, their enrollment numbers. Colorado's become a cool place because Deion Sanders has made it cool. I'm not Deion Sanders cool, but I love Oklahoma State far more deeply than he loves Colorado, and I can sell the ice to the Eskimos. So yeah, of course. But again, I want to make sure, like, I'm respectful of the process. I understand that Chad has a lot to go through. This is his first big hire as an AD, and I'm an Oklahoma State guy. I'll support Oklahoma State regardless.
Obviously, there are a lot of OSU fans that, bring Doug on. We'd love for him to be a head coach. And there are some others worried about the lack of college head coaching experience. How would you respond to that?
There's more than one coach on the staff. You know, and I've talked to Fred Hoiberg, and when Fred took over at Iowa State, he never called a timeout. I've coached 1,000 more games than Fred has. And what Fred did there and what he's done at Nebraska is put really good people around you. What Steve Kerr did when he got the Golden State Warriors job. He'd never coached a day in his life. Put really good people around him. So the answer is no coach has all the answers. If a guy tells you he has all the answers, then he's either full of himself or just full of it, period. So I'm not professing to have every answer. What I do know is I have a great knowledge and feel for the game. I've seen, been a part of, coached or whatever, more basketball games than anybody I know at my age. And I also know enough to know what I don't know. And while your head coach may not have head coaching experience, that doesn't mean assistant coaches can't. You hire people that know what you don't know, and let them do their job and let them help you do your job. That's how you run any business. So lean into your strengths and try and improve on your weaknesses. That would be my pushback to anybody who asks the reasonable question of being a high major head basketball coach without having been a college head basketball coach previously.
And for you personally, your love for OSU, what would it mean to you, just personally, emotionally, to be the head coach of Oklahoma State?
everything, everything. Um, you know, I was I called the Duke Carolina game on radio, and when you walk upstairs at Cameron Indoor, there's these retired jerseys, and I saw Bobby Hurley's jersey, and I wanted to be Bobby Hurley. I want to play for Duke. I want to wear number 11. I wanted to be Bobby Hurley, and it didn't work out. They had Wojo there as a freshman when I was a senior in high school, so they didn't recruit a point guard. Didn't end up happening. And you know what? It's like the Garth Brooks song, right? Some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. And I end up finding everything anyone could ever ask for at Oklahoma State. And to be able to be the head coach on that sidelines to help resuscitate this once super proud program would mean everything to me, and frankly to my teammates, and to anybody who's worn, the orange jerseys on the white maple floor of Gallagher Arena. I mean, that's really what it's about, and what the culture that I've been able to teach young men, regardless of age, is what I learned at Oklahoma State: is learning to play for each other and learning to play for the front of your jersey. In that case, our school. And when you do it, you feel greater rewards playing for something bigger than yourself. I think people who are really religious understand what that's like. When you're playing for, if your love for Jesus is greater, it's a more rewarding expedition to accomplish something for something greater than just you. And that's what I want for young men. And I mean, if you think back and you ask any alum from my era, from the Eddie Sutton era, right, to say, like, what are your greatest memories of college? Man, you remember that night we beat Kansas by 33? You remember when Big Country had 33 and 22 against KU and Greg Ostertag? Do you remember when Byron Eaton hit that shot, against
Texas.
against Texas? Yeah, right. You remember when Durant, the double overtime game? Do you remember the game after the plane crash? Like, those are indelible memories that make college special, and we need that. And so what would it mean to me? It would mean everything. And anyway, the point of the Duke story is I do feel like on some level I checked every box here, right? Like, you name it. I worked for 3 networks. I've done anything and everything. I've done things I didn't even think I wanted to do. I've done. I got to call a Duke Carolina game at Carolina last year, at Duke this year. Like, I've done it. So what's next? And what are the mountains yet to be explored that I've always wondered about exploring? And when I was there, in all honesty, we all thought Sean would be the next head coach, and he'd be the next head coach for 25 years. And the whole question was, do you join his staff or did I keep working at ESPN at the time? But, now with the family kind of fractured, like, we need this. We need a uniting force. And I'm not so arrogant to think I'm the only human being that can coach there, but I do know how you can coach there. I do know how we can get it back and how it can be special. And I do believe that uniting a powerful family through people who played for Travis, who played for Mike, who played for Brad, who played for Sean, and of course who played for Coach, and even who played for Coach Ham beforehand and Coach Hansen. Like, all of us, we all have to be pulling in the same direction. And if we all get united and we teach the kids about what it used to be about and how it can still be there, we get people in that arena, we get the right players. There's no reason Oklahoma State can't be that same type of environment, that same type of memorable moments that all of us who were associated with it, covered it, watched it, cheered for it, played for it, knew it to be.
All right. That's great. I appreciate your time.